My neighbor Wendy, who happens to be a bit of an influencer, snapped a photo of my husband Henry and used it in one of her videos. In the clip, she sweetly told her followers, "You all need to learn this romantic line from my CEO neighbor." Her fans flooded the comments, swooning over what they thought was a dreamy moment. "CEO's wife. This is too cute," they wrote, but Wendy was not just dropping compliments, she started hinting things, guiding her fans to criticize me online. Henry quickly created a Facebook account, tagged me, and posted, "There is only one wife for me." Not long after, a slander lawsuit was on its way. Later that evening, after I finished my shower, I picked up my phone and began scrolling through videos. That was when I saw her again, Wendy. Her face popped up on my screen, all smiles. She was well known around our neighborhood, and the photo she held in her video looked all too familiar. It was a picture of Henry, showing just half his face. In the video, she spoke excitedly, "This is my CEO neighbor. I fell by accident today, and he helped me up," he said. "Why are you walking like a little kid? Be careful, you have to learn this sweet line from him." Her fans flooded the comments again, praising how gentle and romantic he was. Hearing all of that made my blood boil. I angrily tossed my phone at Henry just as he stepped out of the shower. He looked confused but came over to hug me. Then he noticed my phone and watched the video. As he did, his face instantly turned pale. "Honey, let me explain," he said quickly. "I was just passing by, and she tripped and fell right onto me." He looked so wronged it almost made me laugh. I raised an eyebrow. "And how did kids come into this?" Henry looked even more helpless. "I just meant she's a grown adult. Yet she cannot even walk straight. She almost knocked over the desserts I bought for you." At that, I could not help but burst into laughter. Seeing me laugh, Henry did too. He hugged me tightly and picked up my phone to send Wendy a message directly. He asked her to delete the video. After a while, Wendy replied, "How about we add each other on Messenger and talk about it in private?" Henry did not bother replying. Instead, he sent her the building's surveillance video. It had audio. "If you do not delete the post, I will share this video and tell the full story to your fans." The footage clearly showed how annoyed Henry had been during the entire encounter. Wendy stayed silent for a long time before finally taking the video down. I thought that would be the end of it, but to my surprise, the doorbell rang the next evening. When I opened the door, there stood Wendy holding a small cake. She wore a revealing spaghetti strap top and smiled sweetly when she saw me. "Is Henry home?" she asked. "I need to speak with him." I looked her over from head to toe. "You can talk to me." She kept glancing past me. When she saw Henry's shadow behind me, she suddenly pushed her way inside. "Henry, I made this dessert myself as an apology," she said, placing her hand lightly on his arm. Henry's face turned dark. Without hesitation, he pushed her away and walked her to the door. "Miss Wendy, showing up like this uninvited at night is inappropriate. You startled my wife." "Henry, I do not have an agency yet. I was hoping you might sign me," she said, her voice turning soft. That was when it clicked. Wendy must have found out that Henry was the CEO of S Group. Henry looked at her coldly. "Wendy, I do not handle those matters. My wife is in charge of company affairs. It is up to her." Wendy turned to me with a sheepish smile. I rolled my eyes. "I do not approve," I said flatly. "You do not meet our company's standards." Then I shut the door in her face. A few days later, I saw Wendy again, this time at our company. She had officially joined on her first day. She brought little gifts for everyone. People were whispering. It was obvious she had not gone through the normal interview process. Some hinted that she had gotten in because of Henry. She did not deny it. She just smiled, letting the rumors swirl around her. She already had a small crowd of admirers acting like she owned the place. When she saw me, she handed me a small gift with a smile. "Anna, even if you tried to stop me, I would still find a way in," she said sweetly. "If you cross me, there will be consequences. You might want to humble yourself." I did not let her clownish words get to me, but I was curious about how exactly she got into the company. Of course, I trusted Henry, but I could not rule out other people trying to stir trouble. Sure enough, Henry called me to his office not long after. "Our relationship is not public in the company," he reminded me. "I worked hard to get where I am. I do not want anyone to think I rose up by relying on you." Henry looked visibly annoyed. "Honey, Wendy was brought in by Kate," he said. "I will deal with it. She will not be here for long." Kate, Henry's stepmother, she always pretended to be caring, but behind the scenes, she made life difficult for him. I only learned later how miserable his life had been before he inherited the company. No wonder I never liked her. Kate had a video channel where she flaunted her luxurious lifestyle and had gathered quite a following. It was strange. She never cared much about others, so why was she so invested in Wendy? I smiled and said, "No, honey, be nice to her. Let her think she is safe." Henry stared at me. "You are up to something again, aren't you, you little rascal?" Wendy had dug up Henry's true identity. All her efforts were clearly aimed at him, and I had no intention of letting her go unchecked. I gently smoothed out the wrinkles in Henry's tie. "You know what they say," I said softly, "the higher you climb, the harder you fall. I want her to fall so hard she never dares to touch what is mine again." I had always had a strong personality. Marriage had softened me a little, but when it came to people like Wendy, I had no plans to hold back. I was in charge of the artist management department, and as if trying to provoke me, Kate had arranged for Wendy to be placed under my supervision. At first, Wendy seemed well behaved, but it did not take long for her true colors to show. She began bringing gourmet lunchboxes to Henry's office every day. Henry never accepted them. Instead, he always made sure to offer them to me first, and that was enough to keep me feeling secure. For now, Wendy had grown bolder with time. Everyone in the office noticed how often she visited Henry's office, and even Kate seemed to have taken a liking to her. Sometimes, Kate would stop by to chat with her, offering a friendly pat on her hand and saying, "If things ever get tough for you here, just let me know." Wendy resumed posting her videos, once again drawing attention with her stories about the bossy neighbor. Her fanbase continued to grow. Out of curiosity, I clicked on one of the videos. There she was, looking both shy and sweet, smiling into the camera as she said, "Girls, guess what? I'm officially working with my bossy neighbor now." She went on with the story, mimicking a conversation. The bossy neighbor said, "My cooking's amazing," but then he suddenly got all romantic and said, "Girls don't need to cook, they just need to be loved. He is just too smooth." Then she impersonated Henry, looking shocked. "Honey, I swear I didn't eat her cooking. I only told her not to bother making food for me anymore." She paused, then added with a wink, "That last part is a total lie." I covered Henry's face on my phone screen and muttered, "Nope, I'm allergic to bossy neighbors. I don't want to see you right now." Henry looked hurt. "Babe, I cannot deal with her anymore. I'm going to fire her right now." I stopped him with a laugh. "Come on, hubby, hang in there. It is not easy being a man. Be strong." Henry slumped onto my shoulder, his hands getting a little too comfortable. "Then you owe me compensation for the emotional stress," he said with a smirk. Before I could push him away, he had already pulled me under the covers. Just then, his phone rang. It was a voice call from Wendy. Henry frowned, but I answered. Wendy's syrupy voice came through. "Henry, I'm out of shower gel. I'm standing outside your door. Can you let me in?" She sent a selfie right after. She was in a bathrobe, revealing a generous amount of collarbone. I raised my voice deliberately and spoke into the phone. "Hubby, bedtime." Then I hung up. I turned to Henry, teasing, "So, some girl is standing at our door dressed like that in the middle of the night. You are not going to check on her?" The phone rang again. It was Wendy. Henry turned off his phone, pulled me close, and said, "She can stand out there all night for all I care. I'm far more interested in picking up where we left off," and he did not wait another second. The next morning, when I saw Wendy, she looked miserable, tired, eyes puffy, sneezing non-stop. I chuckled to myself. That was what she got for dressing like that and standing outside all night. Wendy was still young and could not hide her frustration. She came up to me and said she wanted to do a photo shoot and asked if I could accompany her. I found it amusing. "I manage your schedule, Wendy. Going with you for a photo shoot sounds more like your assistant's job, don't you think?" The assistant manager walked over with a smile. "Manager Anna, you know Wendy's status. Why not join her? It will be a fun outing. The company will cover the cost." Clearly, the assistant manager wanted to please both of us without stepping on toes. Wendy smirked and said in a deliberately pointed tone, "Anna, over here." I looked at her calmly and patted her on the shoulder. "Call me manager. We are not that close, so stop pretending we are. There is quite an age gap between you and us. Just call me Anna when we are being friendly." Then I leaned in and whispered in her ear, "Do not forget I still manage your resources. And Henry and I are not divorced yet. Are you sure you want to keep talking to me like that?" Her eyes widened, and reluctantly, she called out, "Manager." I smiled. "See, That wasn't so hard, why make me scare you into it? The plan was to do an outdoor shoot. Wendy had chosen the theme and location. I really had no interest in spending time with her, so I took a separate car to the meeting place. I arrived right on time. But after waiting for half an hour, there was still no sign of her. That was when I realized she was playing games. I called her twice, no answer. On the third try, she finally picked up, pretending to be surprised. "Oh, manager, did I forget to tell you? I thought the location wasn't suitable, so I changed it. So sorry, my mistake, you'll have to come to the new place." The new site was over 2 hours away. "Wendy, you are doing this on purpose." "So what? Manager, hurry up, we're waiting for you." I ended the call and rang Johnny, the photographer in charge of her shoot. I explained what had happened. "Got it," he replied. "We'll be there soon." Johnny's team had worked with our company for years. We had a good relationship. He hated workplace drama and had no patience for people who played games. There was no way he would tolerate Wendy's behavior. Since she had gone out of her way to inconvenience me, I decided to let her embarrass herself in front of everyone. I found a nearby cafe, ordered a drink, and waited. A few hours later, Johnny and his crew arrived. I handed them their drinks and smiled. "Sorry for the trouble, it is not your fault. This is on Wendy," Johnny said. "I never thought she would actually act like this." I nodded. Wendy always played the innocent, and men fell for it until they saw her true colors. We had just started chatting when Wendy showed up. Her makeup was a mess from the long journey, and her mood had clearly soured. She did not bother hiding it. "Anna, you are shameless," she snapped. I took a bite of my donut and smiled. "Miss Wendy, if you do not start the shoot soon, the sun will go down." Wendy, flustered, rushed to fix her makeup and get ready. Johnny's team was top tier and difficult to book. If she missed this opportunity, she would have to wait a long time to get another one. During the shoot, she struggled to focus. Even with Johnny's help, the photos turned out mediocre at best. He was a perfectionist and would not settle for subpar work. After hours of shooting without any good results, Johnny finally said, "Miss Wendy, we'll reschedule. After today, there is no need for further collaboration." Wendy panicked and tried to explain, but Johnny simply walked away. After he left, I pulled Wendy aside and grabbed her arm. "Wendy, my patience has limits," I said, keeping my tone firm, but she did not back down. "What are you going to do?" she sneered. "Hasn't Henry told you? I'm a black belt in Taekwondo." By the time we returned to the office, it was already late. The company was nearly empty. I filled Henry in on everything that had happened that day. He sat there, stunned. "She's actually that mean. You handled it well, honey." But the moment I mentioned Johnny, Henry's expression shifted. I could see the jealousy flare up in his eyes. "You brought Johnny into this. Great, now that guy gets another chance to act like your bodyguard." Back when Henry and I were not a couple yet, Johnny had pursued me quite seriously. Even now, Henry still gets touchy whenever Johnny's name comes up. I was about to calm him down when Wendy suddenly barged into the office. "Henry, don't be mad because of me. It's all my fault today," she said, completely misunderstanding the situation. She had overheard Johnny's name and assumed Henry was angry because of the incident earlier. At that point, I was just speechless. Her logic was truly something else. Well, I told myself, messing with someone like her is just a waste of energy. To keep tabs on her, I created a fake social media account and started quietly following her video posts. Her fans had begun commenting, asking why the promised photo shoot had not happened. She replied, "The manager's sister suddenly called the photography team away. It was probably unintentional, so let's not blame her." And just like that, she played the innocent card again. She even posted a selfie on another platform, eyes slightly red, face tilted in a pitiful expression. The caption read, "When others throw mud at me, I plant lotus flowers with it," in just a few words. She shifted all the blame onto me while making herself look like the victim. Her fans bought it immediately, saying she was sweet and misunderstood. One comment even urged the government hairy neighbor to stand up for his little sweetheart. I read the comment aloud to Henry, the actual government Harry, sitting right next to me. He closed his eyes, groaning, "I think I'm going to throw up." Thanks. I logged into my fake account and typed out a calm post, "Worked with Wendy today." She changed the shoot location without any notice, so the session could not be completed. I feel worried for her, hope her future work goes more smoothly. Luckily, I had my husband with me, wishing the best for both of us. I attached a candid photo of Henry sitting on the bed and hit post. Henry glanced at the screen, confused. Babe, what are you doing? I smiled mysteriously. You'll see, just wait, don't worry about it. After the failed photo shoot, Wendy seemed unable to sit still anymore. The mood at the office shifted completely. Normally, when I arrived, everyone would greet me with smiles, but today, they acted like I was invisible. Instead, they were all gathered around Wendy, showering her with compliments. Wendy, you're always so generous, always bringing us gifts, you're just too kind. No wonder Henry likes you, you're sweet. Unlike certain people who only know how to backstab, I did not need to guess who those last words were aimed at. These people were not major influencers. Most of the time, they were friendly only because I was the manager. But now, with Wendy clinging to the title of the boss's wife, they clearly had no interest in staying on my side. Wendy's greatest skill is that she never gets her own hands dirty. She lets others do the talking while she remains the innocent bystander. When it was time for the live stream, I went to gather the team like always. But this time, no one showed up. One assistant, pale and hesitant, finally spoke. Manager, they said they don't want to broadcast today, they don't want to work with a backstabber. I found it oddly amusing. Well, that is their job. If they do not want it, I won't force anyone. I opened my fake account again and wrote another post. Wendy and her group suddenly decided not to participate in today's live event. Maybe work feels too tiring when you have so many fans. It is not my place to say more. Soon. Wendy's fans noticed the previous post I had made with Henry's photo. They flooded the comments section with insults. Isn't this the government hairy neighbor? Does it feel good stealing someone's boyfriend? Shameless. She stole her photos too. Who's digging dirt on her? I am, if no one else will. I smirked. It was time. Wendy had to go. I made up my mind and stepped into the office. Everyone was chatting cheerfully, but they froze when they saw me. Wendy was glowing with confidence. She had even filmed a video with Kate the day before, and her fans were celebrating that she had received the mother-in-law's approval. They were saying marriage to the government Harry was just around the corner. She seemed to believe the fantasy herself, already acting like the boss's wife. I looked around the room. Who does not want to join the broadcast today? Step forward. They exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what to do. Then Wendy stepped forward confidently. We just don't want to work with certain backstabbers, she said. Seeing her lead, the others quickly followed, eager to stay in the good graces of the supposed future Mrs. Boss. Just as I was about to respond, a voice came from behind me. What is going on here? Henry walked over and wrapped an arm around my waist. Someone must have gone to find him when they saw me about to confront Wendy. Knowing her standing in the company, I explained the situation briefly and gave Henry a small wink. It was time to let her go. Henry understood. He nodded. Wendy, he said, his tone cool. She looked up, trying to sound gentle. Henry. But he ignored her completely. Since everyone has made their choices, we will not force it, he announced. You will not be participating in future events. Their faces turned pale. They had only wanted to cozy up to Wendy, never expecting Henry to show up and cut them off so cleanly, leaving them in an awkward mess. As for Wendy, Henry did not hesitate. You can pack up your things and leave. Wendy's face drained of color. Henry, you cannot fire me just like that. That is not legal. Henry let out a short laugh. Is it not? You came into the company through Kate. I never signed any contract with you. Then he pulled me closer. I have never liked discussing personal matters in public, which is why my relationship with Anna was kept private. But now I realize it is time for everyone to know Anna is my wife. The room went silent. The flattery that had been so warm moments before turned into cold, hostile stares, all aimed at Wendy. People realized they had backed the wrong person. They had been played like pawns. After Wendy left the company, Kate began calling Henry repeatedly. Henry, Wendy made a mistake. But you should give her a chance to fix it. Young girls have it tough, Henry replied calmly. Kate, you are overstepping. Let me remind you, I am the one running S Group now. Seeing that her words had no effect, Kate finally hung up. Even if she preferred Wendy, she was not about to risk offending Henry over a single employee. Still, I had a feeling things were far from over. Wendy might have been removed, but I knew she would not go down so easily. Taking someone down means hitting where it hurts most, and I had not found her weak spot yet. I also knew that as long as I stayed by Henry's side, my dear mother-in-law would never be at ease. as I expected, just a few days later. Kate called Henry and warmly invited him to her birthday party. Kate loved putting on a show. Her birthday parties were lavish affairs, famous for drawing half of the city's social elite. In past years, Henry and I had always skipped them. We could not stand Kate's attitude, but this year, her sudden friendliness was too suspicious to ignore. Not long after, Wendy posted a new video. She had filmed herself attending Kate's birthday celebration. Wow, Wendy went to her mother-in-law's party. Where's the big boss? Can't wait to see them in a photo together. The comments read. When Henry and I arrived at the party, we scanned the room and sure enough, Wendy was there. Kate was proudly leading her around, introducing her to guests, raising toasts, acting as if Wendy were family. They were both clearly caught off guard when they saw me. They had not expected me to show up. I walked over with a smile. Miss Wendy, it seems Kate really adores you. From an outsider's perspective, one might even mistake you two for mother and daughter. Kate nearly dropped her glass. Please, do not say things like that. Everyone is watching. I laughed lightly. I am only teasing. Why are you so nervous? I tilted my head, pretending to be confused. Wendy's eyes widened when she saw me. Anna, what are you doing here? Standing beside me, Henry said calmly. Miss Wendy, Anna is my wife. Why would she not be here? But you, why are you in my house? Wendy's face turned white. Kate gave her a sharp look, and she quickly fell silent, following Kate away obediently. Not long after the party began, I gave Henry a subtle look. He nodded and excused himself, saying he was feeling unwell, then headed upstairs. Wendy, just as we expected, followed soon after. From the beginning, Kate had been trying to get Wendy to cozy up to Henry, probably hoping she could use alcohol to lower his guard. I had seen through their plan early on, but Henry never gave them a chance to act. Since their plan was going nowhere, I decided to give it a gentle push. I waited patiently downstairs. Soon enough, Henry gave me the signal. Suddenly, the butler rushed over in a panic. Madam Anna, there has been a break-in. Somione was found in your room. I acted shocked. What? How could that happen? Everyone, please come with me. The guests, all from prominent families, were curious and eager to see what had happened. Kate tried to stop us, sensing something was wrong, but it was already too late. By the time we reached the room, Wendy had already been caught by the butler. She tried to hide her face, but it was no use. The guests had seen her, and whispers quickly spread. Just then, Henry stepped out of the next room, looking perfectly calm. What is going on? Wendy was stunned. No. This cannot be. I saw you enter this room myself. Everyone understood immediately. Their eyes turned cold. The truth was out. Wendy panicked. No, it is not what it looks like. I stepped forward and said clearly, Miss Wendy, you are not welcome in this house. Please leave, otherwise I might have to involve the police. Wendy clenched her fists. You just wait, she muttered before storming off. After she left, I bent down and picked up a strand of hair she had dropped. Wendy's reputation had already taken a few hits among the upper class. Before, because of her job, she had still been able to socialize in these circles. But after tonight, she had lost all respect. No one would take her seriously now. Still, Wendy was not one to sit back and sulk. She quickly launched a live stream, crying and claiming she had been wronged. She said her manager had fired her, and that her mother-in-law had been the only one offering her comfort. Kate even sent her gifts during the stream, clearly still supporting her. Her fans were outraged. That manager again. Is Wendy okay? Someone must be jealous of her. That woman's so evil. Her mother-in-law is an angel. The power of the internet moved fast. Within hours, people had found me. My phone was flooded with hate messages and prank calls. Someone even leaked my ID photo. Old stories surfaced like the time I had been expelled from high school for fighting. Suddenly, the name Anna was being dragged through endless gossip and rumor. Henry took my phone gently. Do not look at it, love. It breaks my heart. The high school story was true. I had grown up in a foster home, and I was often bullied. One time, a few boys cornered me in an alley. I had learned taekwondo, so I fought back. They were not a match for me, but they came from wealthy families. So in the end, I was the one expelled. I had fought hard to rebuild my life. I worked my way into S Group. That was where I met Henry. Henry held me tightly in his arms. It is okay, he whispered. It would all be over soon. Henry acted quickly. Before long, all the negative posts had disappeared. He went on Twitter, got verified as the chairman of S Group, and made an official statement. He declared that he had only one wife, me, Anna, and announced that defamation lawsuits were already being prepared. He even uploaded our wedding photos and tagged my account to make everything crystal clear. I followed up with a long post of my own, including security footage of Wendy delivering things to Henry outside our house, along with a detailed explanation of my complicated past. Johnny also stepped forward to clarify the photo incident. The post exploded online. Suddenly, everyone who saw Henry's tag started flooding into my account, which I had been using like a diary ever since Wendy joined the company. I had shared daily moments with Henry, little things, nothing special at the time, but now, all of it had become solid proof. Wendy had no way to deny it anymore. The public finally saw the truth. Comments poured in. So Wendy was lying the whole time. I actually believed her. This is the real big boss and his sweet wife. Wendy is such a snake, and the boss lady still wished her well in those old posts. She's so kind-hearted. To top it off, Henry launched a retweet contest, promising to give $100,000 each to 10 lucky winners. People went wild. This was the real Henry, the boss everyone admired and the woman he loved. Once everything had been verified and the public firmly on our side, Wendy quietly deleted all her posts, removed her profile photo, and took down the videos. But it was too late. She was already being sued for secretly recording Henry and trying to ruin my reputation. With Wendy mostly out of the picture, it was Kate's turn. Henry placed a paternity test in front of his father, Matthew. Dad, you probably did not know this, but our kind stepmother had another daughter with her first love, even after marrying you. Matthew stared at the report, stunned. Then he turned and slapped Kate across the face. You traitor, I treated you well. I married you not long after Henry's mother passed away, and this is how you repay me. Kate glared at me. It was you, Anna. You figured it out. How? I answered calmly. At the party, you were so emotional when Wendy was mentioned. I made a guess. Your reaction gave it away. I looked into it and found the truth. Kate had once left her first love to marry Matthew, but with Matthew always away on business, she and her old flame rekindled their relationship. Wendy was the child they kept hidden. After her lover passed, Kate wanted Wendy to get close to Henry, hoping to secure their place at the top of S Group. She had planned it all to take over the company for her daughter. Henry then laid out more evidence. Over the years, Kate had embezzled money, altered financial records, and accepted bribes. Matthew rubbed his forehead, exhausted. Call the police. Right now, he filed for divorce and had Kate arrested on the day Kate was taken away. Henry watched with a grin. Do not worry, he told her. I will make sure you are well taken care of, just like you did for me when I was a kid. Kate's face turned pale. Please, I did not mean it. Do not do this to me. I stood beside Henry, holding his cool fingertips as we watched her being led away. Stop looking at her. I whispered. You have not looked at me properly in days. I playfully pinched his cheek, but Wendy was still around. She had not moved out of the neighborhood, and I ran into her often. Just seeing her made my skin crawl. Henry pouted. I found a new place. In a few days, we will move. We are tired of this neighborhood anyway. Let us start fresh. I kissed him on the lips. You are the best husband in the world. But before we could leave, I ran into Wendy one last time. I was walking through the neighborhood, chatting with Henry on the phone, when I saw her coming from the other side. All the praise she once received online had disappeared. After the scandal, she was like a stray dog, rejected by the public, abandoned by fans, and unwanted by any company. She looked thinner, her eyes empty. I felt nothing for her. She had done this to herself. Our eyes met. In hers, I saw a flash of something dark, hatred. Then my mind went blank. My heart skipped a beat as she rushed toward me. Something in her hand gleamed in the sunlight. A knife. I dropped the phone. My body reacted before my mind could. I dodged, but the blade still caught my arm, leaving a deep, burning cut. Henry, still on the call, panicked when the line went quiet. Anna, are you all right? What is going on? I kicked the knife away and grabbed Wendy's arm. Her eyes were full of rage. This is all your fault, she hissed. If not for you, S Group would be mine, my mother, and I should have had everything. You should be the one rotting in prison. I gripped her face and said coldly, you did this to yourself. You have no place in my life or Henry's. Go join your mother in jail. I called the police. When Henry arrived, I had already wrapped my arm. He pulled me into a tight hug. You scared me. You really scared me. I could feel the anger burning in him as his fists clenched. It is my fault, he muttered. I should have kept a closer eye on her. I gave her the chance. I looked up at the sun and smiled. It is okay. Remember, your wife is a black belt in Taekwondo. Henry finally laughed, and I laughed with him. After I recovered and was discharged from the hospital, I made a decision. I resigned from Henry's company. Being forced to reveal my identity had always been my greatest fear, and now it had come true. Even though no one said anything directly to my face, I could feel the whispers. No wonder she got hired with those credentials. Of course, she has someone powerful behind her. There is no way we can compete with that. I could not shut them up. And I did not want to stay in that kind of environment, so I chose to leave. Henry was heartbroken. But this means I cannot see you every day. What am I supposed to do if I miss you? I could not help but smile. I will text you all the time, I promise. And besides, even if I leave S Group, I am still your wife. Right, it took days of sweet talking to calm Henry down, and in the end, I gave in to a long list of unreasonable demands from him because I knew he just wanted to keep me close. Before he finally gave in, I joined a new company, and soon, work began to fill up my days. Despite my busy schedule, Henry would show up every afternoon with a bouquet of fresh flowers, waiting to take me home. My co-workers were full of envy. There is no doubt about it. You are totally living the bossy CEO romance dream. How sweet is that? They teased with playful smiles, since everything that happened. I had started recording little moments from my daily life with Henry on a private Twitter account. My posts had turned into a cozy window into our world, and people were swooning over our seemingly perfect boss-wife dynamic. To be honest, I had become a little sensitive to the phrase bossy CEO. I quickly waved off their comments and told them to stop saying it. The truth was, I felt like Henry was the real sweetheart in our relationship, ever since I started this new job. He had been like a doting house husband, pouting every morning when I left, counting the hours until I got home, showing up with surprise gifts and flowers. He was even nervous that some new guy at work might try to win me over. My new boss was kind, and my team was warm and welcoming. The work was intense, though, and the pace quickly took its toll. After pulling 2 all-nighters back to back, I passed out at my desk from exhaustion. As soon as Henry heard, he rushed over to the office. He barely took a breath before blurting out, "Quit right now." I just smiled quietly. He looked at me, confused. "Honey, what is that look? What are you not saying?" I looked at him gently and said, "I'm pregnant." Henry froze. For 2 whole minutes, he just stood there, stunned, then his eyes filled with tears. "I am going to be a dad. Are you serious?" I could not help but laugh as I wiped his tears away. At that moment, my phone buzzed. A message popped up from one of my co-workers. "Did you hear? Wendy has officially been charged with assault." I turned off my phone without replying. Henry was still kneeling in front of me, one hand resting gently on my belly, his touch tender and careful, as if afraid to disturb the little life growing inside me. I smiled down at him, feeling nothing but warmth. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. So feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great stories. We'll see you in the next video.